You ever get threatened with arrest over a trash can? I did, by fake HOA officers wearing matching polos, clipboards in hand, and absolutely no legal authority. But here's the twist. They picked the wrong guy, because I'm Sheriff Trent Morgan, and I oversee the entire precinct they thought they were controlling. It began like most ridiculous neighborhood dramas, with a trash can. Mine sat 6 hours too long on the side of my driveway. Not on the street. Not blocking traffic. Not even overflowing. Just quietly existing, like a faithful dog waiting to be let in. But in the eyes of our rogue HOA, which acted less like a homeowners association and more like a cosplay precinct of self-righteous vigilantes, this was a federal offense. A bold, red-lettered violation notice appeared on my door. Trash receptacle left in public view. Class B infraction. $75 fine. Signed in aggressive cursive by one Barbara Barbie Klein, who called herself Chief Compliance Officer, acting. Everyone knew Barbie. She was elected to the HOA board under suspicious circumstances involving proxy votes no one remembered authorizing. She wore reflective aviators indoors and used a bullhorn during meetings. Her reign turned our peaceful Arizona suburb into a petty tyranny, ruled by a 97-page HOA rulebook she enforced like it was federal law. A note at the bottom warned, repeat infractions may result in escalation. We know our rights. Seriously? Over a trash can? I texted my neighbor, Will. He sent me a photo of his own citation with the same ominous handwriting. This wasn't enforcement. This was intimidation. And it was about to escalate. The next morning, a beige, unmarked sedan blocked my driveway. Inside were two HOA officers in embroidered polos, clipboards strapped to their thighs like sidearms. They said they were conducting surveillance. On my trash can, I asked for ID. One flashed a laminated card with a cartoon cactus and the HOA logo. Designed, I later found out, by Barbie's nephew. I didn't reveal who I was. Not yet. The next day, Friday, I caught them measuring the distance between my trash can and the curb. Barbie soon appeared, smug as ever. You've now received 2 citations, she announced. We are authorized under Section 14B to escalate this into formal action. Refusal to comply may result in temporary detainment. Barbie, I said, I've been the sheriff of this county for 11 years. You think I'm getting detained over a trash can? Her expression flickered. Her eyes twitched. She tried to recover. Even public officials must follow the rules. The HOA operates independently of your office. Not in my precinct. It doesn't. She spun on her heel, barking into a walkie-talkie, which I later learned wasn't tuned to any frequency. Just static. Now, it wasn't about the trash can anymore. It was about abuse of power. I reviewed the HOA charter. Not only did they have zero authority to detain anyone, but they had also illegally amended bylaws without public votes or legal counsel. Barbie had built a fake empire of control. Emails poured into my inbox. Stories from neighbors of forged fines, threats, unauthorized property entries. Mrs. Grayson, a retired teacher, had paid $600 in infractions in a single month after Barbie threatened a lien on her home. That was my line. I hosted a backyard meeting. 22 neighbors came. The stories were outrageous. Fines for chalk drawings, wind chimes, planting unapproved grass seed. The picture became clear. This was extortion, masquerading as community order. But I needed more. On Saturday morning, the HOA tripled down. Barbie showed up at my door in a khaki jumpsuit, aviators, a plastic badge, and 2 officers flanking her with dog whistles, tape measures, and mace. We are placing you under citizen's arrest, she declared. You are what now? Persistent noncompliance allows for board-sanctioned custody procedures under Covenant Addendum 17A. Addendum 17A didn't exist when I bought the house. Brent, one of her lackeys, stepped forward. Sir, please come with us peacefully. We don't want this to escalate. You work at Staples, Brent. I am also Vice Commissioner of Compliance. Barbie claimed they'd detain me in the clubhouse's compliance holding area. That's a lawn chair in a bingo room, Barbie. That's not detainment. That's kidnapping. Just then, Deputy Dale pulled up, sipping a smoothie. Sheriff, he said, eyeing the scene, you want to explain why HOA has a taser holster now? This is official HOA business, Barbie barked. Dale smiled. Ma'am, you're trying to arrest the sheriff. You realize that, right? Barbie insisted this was community enforcement. No, I said. This is impersonating law enforcement. Trespassing. Attempted unlawful detainment. Leave now, or your next HOA meeting is in a jail cell. Barbie hissed, then stormed off, golf cart buzzing. That afternoon, we filed a full report with the county. The clerk, Julia, tipped us off. Barbie had altered dates on legal documents, forged proxy votes, created a shadow HOA email server labeled Operation Reclaim Order. One email read, "How to detain without liability." This wasn't just cosplay. It was delusion. By Sunday, she passed an emergency motion to allow HOA security to inspect homes without warrants. That was my final straw. I invoked a rarely used clause. The sheriff's office can launch an investigation into any entity performing unauthorized quasi-law enforcement. We did. Turns out, the Sunny Valley HOA didn't legally exist. It was dissolved 3 years prior for failure to file annual reports. Barbie rebranded it without legal reinstatement, forged all titles, including her own as president, secretary, and chief compliance officer. She pocketed over $38,000 in fake fines and reimbursements. One invoice listed tactical enforcement gloves for $179.99 from a paintball site. We presented everything to the county attorney. He was speechless. By Monday, the official investigation launched. Barbie never saw it coming. At a fake compliance seminar, I approached her in uniform. "Barbara Klein," I said, flashing my badge, "you are under investigation for fraud, impersonation, and unlawful financial activity." She gasped. "This is harassment. I'll contact the regional board." "You made that up." We cuffed her. Her neighbors watched, filming silently. Brent cracked within an hour. Handed over emails, receipts, even voice memos of Barbie instructing him to use legal-sounding threats. The county fast-tracked charges: fraud, wire fraud, impersonation, elder abuse. Her bylaws? Copy-pasted from a Florida retirement community. I hosted the emergency neighborhood assembly. The community was stunned, then relieved, then furious. No fines, no threats, no enforcement checks, I announced. This ends now. We appointed a temporary trustee, launched a restitution plan. Greg, fined for mulch, yelled, "Can I finally put rocks in my yard?" "Yes, Greg. As many rocks as you want." Applause. Cheers. Laughs. But it wasn't over. Karen was sentenced to public apology sessions in a bright orange vest labeled, "I abused HOA power." Ask me how. She returned confiscated garden gnomes, solar lights, even wind chimes. Children drew flamingos on sidewalks. Old neighbors laughed again. Then came the final twist. The Delgados unearthed the original HOA documents, the real ones. One amendment read, "The HOA may never levy penalties based on aesthetics." Its author, Maggie Everly from Unit 12, returned like a folk hero. She rewrote the charter into one page. Mind your yard. Be kind. No arrests over trash. It passed unanimously. Karen's legacy became folklore. Her badge mounted in glass at the clubhouse. Her blog, The Orderly Porch, mocked by teens. 6 months later, the county offered to name our new community park. The vote was unanimous. Karen's Last Stand Memorial Park, where lawn freedom reigns. Barbie tried to file a protest. It was denied.